commentary. Okay, now I said we're primarily about free speech. That's what we are, free speech movement. And we decided that we were going to give a Hearts of Oak Free Speech Award for 2020. Okay, we're going to get our own free speech award. This is the inaugural one. Okay, we're going to give it every year to somebody who's courageously battled for free speech. And I'm going to ask my colleague Jeff Wyatt to come up. He's going to come up here and he's going to tell you who we're going to announce it to, and he's going to tell you why, and he's going to hand over the award to her. There's a clue. So, okay, Jeff, come on up.
Well, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very pleased to be here in front of you today. It's a great honour to be able to be here to hand out the inaugural Free Speech Award from the Hearts of Oak movement. Great pleasure to be here. Lovely to see so many of you here. The very fact that lots of the supporters of Hearts of Oak have had to be careful about actually publicising this event speaks volumes about where our country has become. We had to be careful because of the opposition making threats against this very meeting taking place. And I think that absolutely shows where this country is at. We live in sinister times. To think that 75 years ago, my grandfather, amongst hundreds of thousands of other men, fought on the beaches of Normandy, fought for the freedoms that we've enjoyed post-war in this country. Freedoms that we've come to expect. But here we are in 2020, where we have to stand here in the country to fight for those freedoms. Freedoms of speech, freedoms of expression, and freedoms of assembly, frankly, to meet like we are today. What has our country become? We have Tommy here today. Great pleasure to see Tommy at the heart of the Hearts of Oak movement. Now, getting on for a couple of years ago, Tommy stood outside the Leeds Crown Court and did what he does best, which was report on facts, reports on the Muslim child rape gangs. He was reporting facts that were in the public domain. And for his trouble, he was arrested. For his trouble, he was thrown in jail. 3 senior court appeal judges overturned that jailing of Tommy and labelled the arrest and jailing of Tommy as unjust and unfair. But Tommy had the misfortune of running into MP for Torridge and West Devon, Geoffrey Cox QC, who, as Attorney General of the government at the time, literally changed the law 12 months after fact, specifically to charge Tommy on a trumped-up charge of contempt of court. Tommy had a trial at the Old Bailey. Tommy was not given the right to be trialled by a jury, which I've always expected free men of this country to have that option. But no, not Tommy Robinson. The day before the trial at the Old Bailey, I decided to spend a day of my life outside the Palace of Westminster. You know, the doyen of freedom, the mother of all parliaments. And I took along a little placard. Now, I spent the day with that placard on a long stick, creating havoc. Now, at lunchtime, me and my friends decided to have a bit of lunch on College Green. It was a lovely, beautiful July sunny day. And 4 Metropolitan Police officers came up to me and said, "You've got to move on, son." What? I've broken no law. I stood my ground. There was no way I was going to leave. It transpired that the officials at the Palace of Westminster, you know, the doyen of freedom, the mother of all parliaments, had phoned the local Metropolitan Police Station and said, "Move that bloke on with a Tommy Robinson political prisoner placard." Now, how outrageous is that? I was going nowhere. I carried on the day supporting my friend Tommy. Carl Benjamin, on the stage as well, another well-known social media political commentator. To make a point about the barbarity of rape, he jokes about not wanting to rape Jess Phillips, MP, Labour MP. For his trouble, he was lambasted, arraigned and deplatformed. What sort of country have we become now, ladies and gentlemen? We have a situation just recently where 53-year-old Lincolnshire businessman Harry Miller had his local police constabulary ring him up to check his thinking. check his thinking about some jocular tweets that he made about transgenderism. How outrageous is that? Now, I want to live in a country where a man can stand up in front of people and say something as innocuous as, if you were born with male protruding genitalia, you are a man. If you were born with female inward-facing genitalia, you're a woman. Now, at what point in our country did it become controversial to say that? Unbelievable. Now, Harry Miller, fortunately, is a successful businessman and he had the means to sue the Humberside Police Constabulary. And I'm pleased to say, as many in this room will know, that he had a degree of success a few weeks ago, at great expense. Effectively, that man's life and his family life has been put on hold, and I'm pleased to say that his good name has returned. We have a well-known, elected professional politician, ex-professional politician, called Anna Soubry. Now, Anna Soubry does not like being called a traitor. Now, the recipient of the Hearts of Oak Free Speech Award, the inaugural Hearts of Oak Free Speech Award, is a lady that called Anna Soubry a traitor, not once, not twice, but 3 times. On that third occasion, Amy happened to be in the Palace of Westminster, you know, the mother of all parliaments, the doyen of our freedoms, and Amy, Dalla Mura, happened to chance upon Anna, on live TV. And the award that I'm about to present, Amy, you all know what that moment is here. A moment captured, a moment that gets the heart of what Hearts of Oak movement is all about. This is the moment that Anna Soubry called for the police help. And do you know what? The police dutifully did that. The police arrived and eventually they arrested Amy. And eventually Amy was put in front of Judge Lady Emma of Arbuthnot and was convicted on a trumped-up charge of harassment. Now, Amy will be the first to admit she's no spring chicken. And Amy spent 2 weeks in jail for effectively calling a professional politician a traitor. Now, in the Oxford English Dictionary, the definition of traitor is somebody that is disloyal. Now, I can think of no greater disloyalty than a well-known professional elected politician, which she was, because she's not anymore. Thanks to the good people of Broxton, Nottinghamshire. I can think of no greater disloyalty than spending 3.5 years trying to overturn the democratic decision of the people in June 2016, which is what Anna Soubry did, and it's why I call the lady a traitor. It was with great pleasure that I can award Amy the inaugural Hearts of Oak Free Speech Award, one of the bravest ladies I know, and one of the most effective political activists I know. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dalla.
Glad I didn't trip up there. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you know what I mean? So thank you so much for this, Jeff. Everybody, I'm truly honoured to receive such an award. Now, I had planned to do this in the Ricky Gervais Golden Globe style, but then I realised that this isn't about you, it's about me. What a journey. As the saying goes, it's been full of ups and downs. A few too many downs for my liking, literally, thanks mainly to the Met Police and a certain gentleman by the name of Shrek. Little inside joke there. But if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't change a thing. Actually, hang on. Thinking about it, I might change a couple of things, such as having a chunk of brick thrown by an Antifa loser which hit me in the chest at my very first protest in Telford in 2017, which perhaps should have put me off, but it didn't. And maybe I'd change the knockout punch thrown by Shrek, a complete stranger, in Soho on a Friday afternoon in September of 2018. But other than that, oh no wait, maybe I'd change experiences of my violent arrest and subsequent 2 days I spent in jail when I protested against the Extinction Rebellion protest on the 20th of April last year. Yes, I did say my arrest for protesting against the protest and then being charged with being a part of the protest, which the police knew full well that I wasn't part of. And I guess I changed the highly unpleasant experience of being physically accosted and unceremoniously thrown out of Parliament by the police on the night of the 27th of March last year, a couple of weeks after my Anna Subi's a traitor episode. Yes, I'll probably change those moments, but other than that, oh no, hang on a minute. Okay, I definitely changed the sinister experience of the unexpected and violent arrest at my home in May of 2018 for having told someone to have a gay day in a Tesco car park. And the consequent court de facto experience as opposed to the court de jure, which led to a bizarre conviction for an apparent homophobic hate crime, even though the prosecutor at the so-called trial was unable to tell me exactly what the negative meaning of the word gay was. Although having said that, I changed that particular negative experience, it would mean that if I had changed that, I would then have missed the more than satisfying experience of then going on to challenge the ridiculous and somewhat Orwellian conviction in August of last year, and winning said appeal by referring to 29JA of the Public Order Act 1986, Section 3, Chapter 64, just a little FYI, by the way. So other than some of those unpleasant episodes, I'd say some of the things I would not change would include the interesting debates at Speaker's Corner that I had in 2018, challenging certain aspects of the ideology of Islam, especially with regards to the treatment of women, and also challenging the park police on that particular Easter Sunday of 2018 as to why they refused to enforce the park's rules and regulations concerning religious prayer. I think the popping of the abominable baby Trump blimp on my birthday last summer during President Trump's wonderful state visit is in a strange sort of way a definite up moment in reflecting on my up and down experiences, although I could have done without the 3 stitches. Thanks to my tool of choice having been my Yorkie's safety scissors, which bounced off the thick rubber. Having said that, they were definitely worth the pain. My treatment by the police, on the other hand, was another matter. And I definitely wouldn't change the special experiences I enjoyed alongside the Patriotic Twins UK, Dan the Brexit Matman, and other special, truly patriotic and enthusiastic Brexiteers of our tea and crumpet Saturdays on College Green for the Battle of College Green, which was our peaceful, civilised campaign to remove the fake stream media from that location, as I felt that they tainted the magnificence of the vista of the buildings, which houses the mother of all parliaments, with their incessant anti-Brexit globalist propagandist TV streams, whilst using them as a backdrop. Now, my violent ejection from said College Green, due to the misuse of the trespass law, and I use air quotes for law because there are those of you out there who I know understand, as I now do, having had plenty of time in prison over Christmas, to read a very enlightening book called Freedom, ... is more than just a 7-letter word, Magna Carta 1215, by Veronica Cohen of the Chapman family, which made much of what I've experienced and seen many other poor souls experience over the past, I don't know how many years, suddenly all make sense. And I highly recommend the book for anyone out there who, like me, is intrigued to find out how our world is being run, as opposed to how we thought it was being run, and how it's meant to be run. The Magna Carta of 1215 and the Bill of Rights 1689 are just two of the foundational land law-based documents by which our forefathers formulated common-sense laws designed to protect people with regards to how things should be run and what rights we as individuals have. As with most ideas, the original ones are usually the best. Thinking about my challenging experiences over the past few years, I wish I could say that most, if not all, of the negativity and hostility I faced during those trying times came from the so-called left, and all that that entails, including the media. But I'm afraid to say that much of it, in actual fact, came from those who claimed to be on the same side. I won't name any names, don't worry. But they know who they are. Sadly, a dark period of my life happened after I lost my career as a golf professional in the US LPGA due to several failed back surgeries and subsequent failed hip surgeries. This eventually led to me losing all hope of ever regaining my health and career, and resulted in me trying to end my life. It's a long story, but suffice it to say that the truth is stranger than fiction. And the truth is that I was in fact rescued from the sea on 5 occasions and not 50, as the fake street media and prosecutor stated. Yes, I was sent to prison because of their lies. The thing is that what's been held against me has been something I had no power over, and that was severe depression brought on by forces which were completely beyond my control. The old adage of walk a mile in my shoes is a very appropriate one in my case. What I don't understand is why people who are meant to be on the same side join those who are definitely not in judging and condemning me for what they've read, instead of seeing the incredibly positive mental recovery I've been through, which has led me to be receiving this amazing special free speech award today. The hardest thing is that no one has yet had the guts to come and tell me to my face why. But is that why my support from those on the same side has been so underwhelming? Honestly, at times I've felt like the female version of Lord Voldemort of Harry Potter fame. Yes, I read every book long before the author went and ruined it all by going all SJW on it. Yet another shattered illusion to add to the many these days. Listen, I could go on and on about the somewhat dramatic experiences I've been through for the battle to defend not only my own civil rights, which continues, as my appeal against the outrageous conviction is due to be heard on the 12th of March, but also for the battle of others who've been mistreated by the police, the CPS, the media, etc., for the protection of the civil rights as well, for the generations that follow us. But I realise that you're all here to hear a few presentations about our ongoing battles to resurrect our rights of free speech from other better-known voices. So to finish, I'd just like to say a couple of quotes I utter at the end of my daily broadcasts, one being, "If you tolerate this, your children will be next," and the other by the late Sir Winston Churchill, and more recently by my real-life hero, President Donald John Trump, which is, never give up, never give in, and never, ever, ever surrender. Something I vow that I will never, ever, do again. So help me God. Thank you again.